We have with us Manish Raj Singhani, the president at FADA, joining in on the show. And we will also have Kumar Rakesh join in just a short while from now. But Manish, great to have you today on ET Now. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining in. Firstly, wanted to understand how the industry is getting up for the festive season. Because, we were just chatting with Shashank Srivastava from Maruti just the other day, and he said that for some of their models, the older ones at that, the inventory is as high as 4 years. So wanted to, understand from you whether we're looking at a big discount season as well coming up ahead.
So, good morning, yeah. If you look at the April to July industry, overall industry has been very positive, automotive industry, and car segment has been growing by almost 3%, and two-wheelers have been growing by almost 4%. So overall, please understand that last year passenger car industry achieved an all-time high figure, and surpassing all these high retail volume peaks is a tough task. But with improved supplies and higher incremental production levels of various OEMs, we are able to attend to or address the customer requirements better. And coming to the festive season, we are very positive about the festive season. Dealers across India have been accumulating stock. As you can see in our July press release, we quoted that paid up stock with PV dealers is almost close to 55 days. And that's the kind of expectation that is there from the auto industry and the festive market. Also, dealers also are preparing that last time, there were a lot of misses because there was huge shortage of models and we could not address the consumer demands and customer requirements. But this time, dealers are more cautious. They are picking up stocks so that they are able to attend to customer requirements and demands. Various kind of bookings, now the model range is huge. SUV segment is kicking, and yes, definitely, I would say consumers can expect a better scheme and better demand because if you look at it, across every OEM, whatever the OEM, their entry level cars, passenger cars are not doing that well. And to attract the customer to that product portfolio, OEM and dealers would definitely roll out red carpets for the customers to come and buy during the festive season. But what I want to caution is, if the customer wants the right vehicle and right model, he or she should book right now because during festive season, normally there is a crisis. And if you want your right model, then it's the right time to book the vehicle now.
Okay. So when you say the demand for sedan is not looking that great, is this only a sedan specific issue? Or is this a company specific issue? Or this is about the affordability, what is happening in the rural India?
So yes, definitely, it's not only sedan, it's about the entry-level cars also. And we definitely know that rural market is not able to perform as it is required to do so. And it has been struggling. In our July press release, we predicted a below average monsoon in August, and we are seeing almost a 30% deficit in monsoon this August. So all this will augur, not a reliable market or festivities in rural market won't be that good. But normally looking to the last year trends, even though markets are not going well in rural market, customers tend to come out during festival times and pick up their choice of vehicles. You can see a positive growth, a positive trend last 2 years. Even though there was stress in rural markets, still customers came out during festival times. On an average, we were still on a degrowth, but during festival times, the rural market definitely responded. So yes, there is a huge potential there, but due to lack of rainfall, the right quality and right quantity of crop won't be available for the farmers. And this MSP buying by the government, and it is a critical factor in the fund flow for the rural economy. And if we don't have the right quantity of crop, so hence you will have less money in the hands of farmers. So rural economy would be kind of stressed in the long term.
All right, Kumar Rakesh also joins us, India analyst with BNP Paribas. Kumar, auto stocks, let's say a month ago, were at a relative high. And with the exception of CVs, most of the auto stocks have retreated quite a bit. Given that there seems to be now this change of trend between in four-wheeler from sedan to SUV, do you think this is something which markets have already factored in, because the recent outperformance in Mahindra and for that matter Maruti is a clear indication of how markets are aligning to the new shift?
Hi, good morning, Nitin. Thank you for having me. If you recall, early last month, I was here on your show as well, and we were talking about that now is the time to start getting more selective in the auto space. So far in the year, we have seen the entire auto space outperforming the broader index, and that possibly will start changing as the demand patterns across different segments have started digressing quite significantly. And that is something which the recent auto sales numbers are also indicating, and possibly will continue for the rest of this fiscal year as well. And investors also have started aligning themselves. And it's not just the demand side of the equation which we have to be mindful of. Also on the commodity pressure side is something which we have to be quite watchful. We maintain our commodity basket of all the commodities which goes into a typical passenger vehicle and two-wheelers. It had been coming down so far in this year, but last month that also went up, specifically because of the steel prices going up. And if you would listen to the commentary from the steel companies, they are talking about that the steel prices have started bottoming out, and they would expect steel prices going up in the coming months, possibly by third quarter. And if that starts happening, the margin side of the equation also will start getting more stressed. So we should rather start aligning from stock preference perspective, more to stocks which are still seeing demand, which can possibly offset the higher commodity pressure, whereas the segments which are going to see demand pressure will see far higher impact of any commodity stiffening.
I'd like to draw your attention to what's happening, Kumar, to the two-wheeler space. And if I look at the numbers which came out, let's say both from Mahindra, both from Bajaj and from other two-wheelers, they're just pointing to one trend, which is that the premium luxury bike will do well, and the affordable luxury bike segment is where the competition will intensify. How long before the base effect will start kicking in? Do you think from a market standpoint, now it's time to look at the other end of the spectrum, because luxury will hit a peak in terms of base and rural or entry level will hit a base in terms of comeback?
Nikunj, if you see the entry segment of the two-wheeler industry over the last 4 years, they have seen a price increase of almost 40%. And that's a very sharp price increase for different reasons. And I'm talking about the on-road prices for the insurance price increase, then the emission norm kicked in, and then the commodity prices went up. And now it will obviously have a price elasticity impact, something which we saw over the last 2-3 years play out. And hence the overall industry volume, what peaked at 21 million in FY19, ended close to about 16 million last year. And we believe this is largely a reflection of the price elasticity absorbing the higher prices. From here on, we should be seeing a more normalized growth. If you look at the last long-term average industry growth of 30-40 years, the industry has grown at about 8%. And given that we have far higher number of two-wheelers now in the market, the penetration is much higher, the growth would be much lower than what the long-term average of the industry has been. And of course, within that, the entry segment would be at much lower than that. And the premium segment, which you are talking about, where there's much higher competition, will see a higher growth. And possibly that's why we are seeing a much higher competition as well, because most of the OEMs are realizing that the industry is premiumizing and the demand is shifting towards those segments. And also the affordability of the consumers in that segment is better and price elasticity is less compared to the entry segment.
And what about, let's say, dual plays like Bajaj Auto? Bit of domestic and a lot of export. What happens there?
They are definitely, because of the diversification the company has, they definitely benefit to some extent. But when we look at the overall automotive basket, the segments like commercial vehicle, where we still are seeing a strong upcycle, passenger vehicle, where the demand is far more resilient, and the long-term structural growth story is there because penetration is still quite low for passenger vehicles in the country. Those companies would be better placed. But within the two-wheeler basket, you are right. The companies with much diversified portfolio will be better off.
All right. Thanks so much for taking time out and giving us a lot more clarity on how trends are shaping up within the entire auto space and what the outlook is going forward.